For me, my Obibia Aquaba, about Chinese one with daily update TV. The AG of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Dominica Kritinga Ayini, we pia Bontiambema update on cases ni department in air handle na me pacho ne kasa munu wachere say Chairman Wontumi NPP Ashanti Regional Ashanti Regional Chairman Wontumi our CCC and opese okofo omo national chairman sa omo national chairmanship race no opese okobi na okoje and asa obe national chairman no sa Chairman Wontumi na America no ase na me pacho mo be kaya nanse ya Chairman Wontumi ne Yoko enya case gidi nanse ya kra na yesache no kra ko America so omo detain no because of and near maybe some infractions be omuhu ni say or the no frafra regarding to the illegal mining ni other near maybe a wire omuhu ni say etia emra na me pacho yema update ewo ye channel no so nim say munyina munya bi etie ye yankopon hira ye nyina na onye Kesi na busu yenkotu enne nsem ewo ho na Dr. Dominica Kritinga meeting the press now or can nsem say Chairman Wontumi abane office one ne nkofo one ne lawyers epiaba ono no office omukọ no office ono omukọ no ensem omo kan say nanse yate say asa oye plea bargain man nkofo bi na we de yesrewa anka plea bargain anka onfa ye nhiem nti yesrewa nti anka fa ye hiem na ensem a Dr. Kritinga Ayini ka chen so senior plea bargain ni de me mejayo Mejai mumwa na mumu NPP for mwana mesha se me plea bargain mumu se me make deals me ye eyi me ye say esuma die bi a me de kata niema na mu use against me abran so na me per say ye ade no finchem na bibia ko yi kama no mumu ba ebe ka kire me say me make deal afa o Chairman Wontumi wa ba me fie anase me department say o ba be dey me and the plea bargain court court anu aka kire court ni say ana say judge ni say judge we ade we dey mejitu mu nanso me pese me plea bargain eno dia na say court ni ka say okay na say de omo nkono hwehwim na ono ane tena se na ohwe na so hu say be boa dia fine but ono dia on match Chairman Wontumi plea bargain on man pass wa match Chairman Wontumi plea bargain ama Chairman Wontumi di nanim ferry pa efree no office hono na ebusuya or can sanse mu was react to other issues be na yebeko ni akoti ensem na nkasa free Dr. Kritinga Ayini the AG of the Republic of Ghana na me pacho ye wi a ye bedi nkomo na nkopon hira na onye obi bia Kesi stay tuned me do obi bia ase
from 2017 was 14,000 Ghana cedis, a little about 14,000 Ghana cedis. He exited buffer stock in December 2024 with a salary of 28,000 per month. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do your mathematics. All right, and there are no other sources of legitimate earnings apart from these that I have named. Do your mathematics and tell me, in good faith, whether a couple earning this amount of money can buy a house costing 1.6 million United States of American dollars at chain homes. That is the question, not for the gods, but for us as citizens to be able to answer and answer very well through the accountability process. And that is why I keep saying that it is important that we we do painstaking investigations, because without the painstaking investigations that were done quietly, we started this in February. In February 2025, this investigation started in February 2025. And it is now that we have the results. As I have also told you, the oral reports are still coming into my office. Now, those who are pushing me to go to court and who are saying that by now convictions should have been obtained, I know you are Ghanaians, you have legitimate expectations of your government officials, including the president and the attorney general. But we need to do a good job. Accountability costs resources. Accountability, takes time. And so it is important that Ghanaians are patient so that we have the kind of results that I'm announcing today. Not that I will rush to court. Defense lawyers who come expeditiously will now turn around and say that Ayini is an incompetent attorney general. I was never an incompetent lawyer in private practice. I don't want to be an incompetent lawyer in public service. So I want us to take our time to do the kind of work that I'm announcing today. And I want to also let you know that I'm under no pressure from any quarters to cut any deals. Mr. President, who is my boss, has never put pressure on me. On the contrary, when I brief him, he gives me his blessing. He doesn't even express an opinion one way or the other. He says, Dominic, I've heard you. All right? The chief of staff has never put pressure on me to cut a deal with anybody. The secretary to the president, Dr. Kalisus Mahama, has never put pressure on me. On the contrary, he encourages me. He says the work is stressful, but I should keep on. The legal counsel to the president, my former boss, has never put pressure on me to cut any deal. Offers have been made, and I have turned all of them down. I have told everybody, please go to the court. If you want a pleas deal, I'm filing cases. In the Wontumi case, offers were made to us for a plea deal. I said, no, I'm filing charges. If you want, announce your intention for a plea deal to the judge. That is now my strategy. The MPP took advantage of my saying that I'm open to to having plea deals to say, okay, that I was busy cutting deals in the office. No deal has been cut, and no deal will be cut except under the auspices of the court of competent jurisdiction. That is what I have decided, and that is what we are going to do, going forward. Lastly, we have frozen all the assets of Hanan that I have listed, including a 10 million Ghana cedis fixed deposit account at Republic Bank, Labone branch. That is the liquid assets. They also, have a lot of bags. I didn't want to list them. The wife has over 61 luxury bags. All right, name them. He himself was buying watches, some costing as much as 1.5 million Ghana cedis, and so on. We have taken note of all of them, and so we've done the freezing, including those of the vehicles. So on account of the foregoing, we have decided to charge Mr. Hanan Abdul Wahab and his wife, Faiza Seydou Wuni, with stealing, conspiracy to steal, causing financial loss to the state, using public office for profit, obtaining public property by false statements, and money laundering. The charges will be filed on Friday, and I have the charge sheet, the draft charge sheet, which I am reviewing here for everybody to see, so that nobody goes to say that I have indicted somebody and I don't have charges. I have my charges ready. From now onwards, when we are announcing the conclusion of investigations, we are either contemporaneously filing charges or we are filing them immediately thereafter. Okay, so this is what I have for you today. I hope that Ghanaians will bear with us to do an excellent job for this republic. The oral will work. Forget about those who are paying bloggers to blog that oral is failing. Oral is on course and will work for the good of the people of this country. We will exact accountability to the extent justifiable by law. As I said, I will not do anything outside the law for political expediency reasons. I won't. So thank you, and God bless all of you. With respect to Hanan, if we are looking for one Hanan and we don't get him, we may come for another Hanan. So, two questions. One is in respect of the former finance minister. There has been a lot of talk on both mainstream and social media regarding what is happening. All right. In a nutshell, the processes have begun for the request to be made. The point is that the request to be made to the American authorities. When doing extradition, you cannot make a request unless you have a solid case, a docket that has been built. And in the case of the Americans, the practice is for you to have filed charges. And so, for instance, when Kofi Boateng, when we extradited Kofi Boateng, Kojo Boateng, to the U.S. on the request of the Justice Department of the United States, the Justice Department actually sent me what they call the bail of indictment. All right, that's the charge. Those are the charges. They sent me the charges, the supporting facts, and everything. And ladies and gentlemen, they spent 6 years investigating the syndicate of criminals that included, Kojo Boateng. 6 years. All right. So the point that we have made, that my deputy made, is that without a docket, we cannot make the request. So we are still waiting for the docket. That is all I can say for now. I've read everything that has been said by the OSP and his office. I respect his office. I respect the autonomy of the office and so on. Okay, but we in the Attorney General's department cannot begin an extradition request with a bare letter. We need the evidence to be able to do so. That's all I can say. So the formal processes have started. Then, what do we wish to do with the properties? Well, when they are handed over to the state, the appropriate authorities will know what to do with them. Okay, so for instance, in respect of the real estate, it will be the Ministry of Works and Housing that will take proper custody of them and then be able to determine to what use they will be put by the Republic. If it is also the case that we should auction them and then put the money into the consolidated account, that decision will be taken by Cabinet and then we will continue from there. All right. But it's as Mandela said, it's a long road to, a long walk to freedom. All right. This is a long haul because no criminal that has been indicted will, stand idle when you are doing confiscation proceedings. So definitely, and the people we are talking about, they have a lot of cash. If it is not in the bank, it is somewhere, and they will hire some of the best legal minds to come and meet me in court. So we will be fighting, the battle on behalf of the people of this country. The question of how I feel when people say, the oral cases are delaying, I feel frustrated because the work of prosecution is not done by the Attorney General alone. The Attorney General depends on investigators for the raw material to be able to prosecute. So today's announcement of the Rumble in the Jungle is from investigations over the last 8 months. Excellent work done by Mr. Raymond Acha of the Economic and Organized Crime Office and his team. And I want to thank them very much for the wonderful work that they are doing. The oral investigations, also excellent work, is being done by the National Intelligence Bureau. As for them, we don't mention their names. And they are the ones in charge of the 34 instances or cases that were implicated in the oral committee report. And they are also doing excellent work. You can see from the charges we filed in national service cases that they did an excellent job. You can also see from my briefing on the drip case that they are doing an excellent job. So the point is that I have to wait patiently for all these entities to do their work and do the work very well, including, of course, the Financial Intelligence Center. And again, I want to extend, thanks to my junior brother, Kojo Chumbuafo. As for him, I can mention his name. He has been very, very, very critical when we talk about all these bank statements and analysis of bank data. Without him, we can't obtain them. Okay? So there are times that I call him at 2 a.m. because I'm reading an oral report and they need to fill in information about bank records, and I call him and say, in the morning, can I get this when you get to the office? And within 2 hours, he will go and threaten bank managers and get the information for me. All right? So I will zoom into the next question, which is, when? I already said that the dockets, some have started, dockets have been built in others. When the docket comes, we will advise whether there is a prosecutable case. If there is no prosecutable case, and there will be instances where the investigators will differ from the complaints in the other report, okay, because they have investigated and come to the conclusion that there are no acts of criminality. If that is the case, we'll just advise that the docket be closed, all right? Otherwise, we'll proceed to investigation. Then the question about real, estate companies and money laundering. That's an excellent one. I remember you said, a certain minister said it. It's the Honorable Sam George who spoke about it, some time ago, about a link between money laundering and real estate, development. Now look at the skyline of Accra. All right? Look at the skyline. It's changing rapidly. So my junior brother Kojo Chumbuafo and I are, collaborating to do something about it. It's not that we don't want the skyline to change. I want that when I'm flying in from anywhere, the skyline of Accra should look like the skyline of New York City. But it must be done with legitimate money. It must be done by hardworking real estate developers who have decided that they want to change the skyline and make business and make profit. So Kojo Chumbuafo's for FIC and I will be collaborating on that aspect of the problem. Then the National Cathedral Contract Termination and Board of Trustees. I've just announced that the Auditor General has asked one of the big four to do a forensic audit on National Cathedral. The audit, we gave them 8 weeks. I think we've done about 5 weeks now. So maybe in 3 weeks. And you, the journalist, when I say maybe in 3 weeks, next time I'm here, you said Cathedral in 3 weeks you get the reason, you have it, you don't have it. No. They may ask for an extension. Okay, so maybe in 3 weeks we'll get a forensic audit report. It is at that point in time that I will decide, how to terminate. Okay, because in every contract there is a basis for termination, and that depends on the facts and the evidence. You cannot just terminate, a contract without a basis. I don't want any situation. The fact that we are investigating a crime doesn't mean that the companies involved did not do legitimate work. Somebody dug the hole and had to be paid to dig the hole. Okay? And if they were not overpaid, or they were paid and then they decided to give money as kickback to somebody. If I find a kickback situation, that is a crime. But otherwise, they are entitled to their money. Okay, so we will look at the findings of the forensic report before we do the termination of the contract. As for the Board of Trustees, the dissolution of the Board of Trustees, we are taking steps, to ensure that that happens. Now, the next question. So, Maxwell, I hope I've answered your questions very well. Now, the relationship between the Attorney General's office and that of the Auditor General, we work excellently together. Okay, and as the Minister for Government Communications indicated earlier, our collaboration is continuing, especially in respect to the Auditor General's report, the annual report submitted to Parliament. The President is serious that we should take that aspect of the work, and then make sure that those who are found to have engaged in infractions, are punished. And so, Mr. President met with us, not only myself and the Auditor General, but also the Chief Justice of the Republic and his team. And the idea is for us to set up special courts that are designated and given the mandate to deal exclusively with matters raised in the Auditor General's report that border on criminality. And we are going to take a two-pronged approach. Okay, one approach is criminal prosecution. The other is the exercise of the power of disallowance and surcharge under Article 187 of the Constitution. That power is granted to the Auditor General. The Auditor General can disallow an expenditure on the basis that the expenditure is illegal, unlawful, or criminal, and then where it is criminal, refer the matter to me, or where it is simply a matter of civil law, impose a surcharge, disallow the expenditure, and impose a surcharge. So we are going to adopt the two approaches and then make sure that we succeed in making the Auditor General report meaningful to Ghanaians. Then OSP says he's collaborating with my office. That is true. You've seen the exchanges. Yes, we are collaborating. All right. Maybe the pace of collaboration is not something that I have, that I am happy about. And I don't think that Ghanaians are also happy about the pace at which we are collaborating. All right. But yes, the office of the special prosecutor and my office are collaborating. I thank you all, and God bless all of you. Thank you for coming.
Me pacha me da obi bia se we nyamre no abenya e video ni bi nso ahwe na yendi nkomo kakra nsa na ye de ye make say show we an asset discussion abe friends ewie enema Dr. Quilty Ayini eye no odwene like hu ni say all the times in the briefing the public, you know, because men can say the press, because some meet the press, brief press now automatically they are briefing the public. And you know, men can say briefing the public concerning cases of more handle. No one say yeah the pan and say yeah the pan. Maybe from where I and also from the lenses I mention no dear, and I say me view things from no dear. Make I say yeah the pan. But minimum so opinion. Into ubet my opinion view. I share comment section on, and I say will comment section on. You better not can kind. I'm a patch of. Is here I think say strategy Dr. Quilty Ayini use na yepa yepa. On be yard yet now chinamun san be so against or no. Debbie. Wow him say what for mine sika. Well loot or mine sika allegedly please because there is no court declaration a chere say will be a lutu a friend is saying or mine and until proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction. Yet Ayini can say will be a cronfo and answer on your cronfo. Me pacho, ain't you know until that no said mama cano. Any day ye bet me ba and as a court in people bontin be cancer and semi the any yin I bet me pia bontin so abe can be. Now so strategy Dr. Quilty Ayini use me who say a good strategy and look doc baby I will be and we salute you. Koso bowadwuma Nyankopon be chirawo Nyankopon kan ho ye nyina nim say na it was a propaganda be e say onokra or kate deals with some NPP nkofo we pia babonti abechirechirem na me pacha o kan onu ni wie o kan no ni wie no osa kan sem be regarding to Nansenya OSP any on an office and as on the department more or less banter kakra bi and as a beef kakra bi aba. Okay, or my say the kind of collaboration that exists between on office any OSP office in the pace are a moving the ninja cry at all. Let's just say, then some more Kenyano, young can create the ninja and Yama OSP or no saw OSP ni no said the ninja. Yeah, or son of or church and ninja more honor. Minim se onya tie aha Nyankopon hia nyina na onye ekese mmede kakra me wo ana maka no wonso comment ye dey fa comment share comment section on me beje na yakenkan na days after no yen hwe de besi na me pacho said ya kan high daily update TV se no first time abacha o anasa no first time abacha ni so a please o share your video so when you join kwada my sum up subscribe to our YouTube channel na na share our videos no so ma we love it enye bi enti Nyankopon hira ye nyina na onye kese me de nkomo no anase de nkomo no ebesi anom stay tuned for more updates me de obi biase.